Good morning, everybody. It's Good Time Gal. How are you? We're good. We have got a couple of weeks, not even a week, I think, and it's Valentine's Day. So I want to thank everybody who has been purchasing my cookbook, Good Time Gal, which is this cookbook. It is available on TikTok. If you are purchasing it from here, you are going to receive some free seasonings. That's going to make your meal even better. It's true. So the last time we were here, we did some Valentine's Day treats. I think we did a better than sex cake, and we also did a yummy, yummy, lazy dessert. So today, we are going to be still doing a Valentine's Day recipe. We're going to be doing our heart-shaped sugar cookies. Yes! Now, for those of you who have been viewing me in December, we made sugar cookies and they came out spectacular. So we know that this recipe, this sugar cookie recipe, remember I said it's not just for Christmas, it's for all holidays because sugar cookies have a simplistic taste and you can decorate them with your favorite candies. So today, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do some sugar cookies. Again, I'm Good Time Gal, and this is my Good Time Gal cookbook. If you purchase it today, you will receive a free seasoning kit. I also have my self-love journal that I have published exclusively for you because there's nothing like having some self-love. That is also available. And then, of course, my Good Time for the Holidays cookbook, which is a 4-course cookbook that has post drinks. This is always great. I always tell people some of your greatest recipes will come from a holiday cookbook. But today, we're going to be focusing on this, okay? So I'm going to push this back and you guys are going to get to see all these lovely ingredients that I brought, okay? Yep, see? So we're going to start. So for this basic sugar cookie recipe, you're going to need 2 cups of flour. You're going to need a teaspoon of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and 1 large egg. You're gonna need a cup of sugar. You're gonna need a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and then of course, the candies of your choice. So the candies that I chose today, I chose these wonderful red glitter, and then I'm also gonna make some pink powdered sugar candies out of some dye, and it'll just be really fun. But Valentine's Day sugar cookies is a great way, it's a great and affordable way to show people that you care. You can give this to your significant other, you can give this to your kid's teacher, you can do this as a Valentine's Day Christmas party and no one will, Valentine's Day party and no one will know the difference. So that's the beauty of a sugar cookie. Sugar cookies go great with soda, juice, tea, coffee, because it's a sugar cookie. It's a very delicate cookie, but it's gonna be great. This is gonna take us about an hour to make, but we're gonna make it, okay? So then let's start. So how we start this one is we're gonna put all of our dry ingredients together. So we are going to whisk our flour, our baking powder, and our salt, okay? So this is our flour, our baking powder. I'm gonna make sure I get all of it. I'm gonna set our egg aside because we're not there yet. And then I'm going to add the salt. And then just like the recipe said, I'm going to take my whisk and then I'm just going to whisk it. I'm just gonna whisk it softly because I don't have to whisk hard with this. I just wanna make sure that I'm incorporating all the dry ingredients together. Thanks so much for the hearts. Keep them coming. But yeah, this is how we do it. I am trapped in my house today. There's a huge ice storm, so no one can go anywhere. So I thought, you know what? I'll make some sugar cookies for you guys. So if you look, it's just turn and turn it. So we're good. So I'm gonna set that aside. I'm gonna get my favorite beater because now that we've done that, we wanna add our butter and our sugar together. And usually with cookies, I like to grate my butter because it makes a fluffier cookie. But with this particular sugar cookie, you want to cream the butter and the sugar together, and that's going to give it that fluffy sugar cookie consistency. So here's my sugar. And there's no butter. And of course, we save our parchment paper. I love to save my butter parchment paper and use it for a later date. I may actually use this when I bake. I may use this instead of regular parchment paper. So what I'm gonna do so that it works the beater a little easier is I'm gonna cut these up. They're already at room temperature, so it's already pretty soft, if you see it. It's already pretty soft, but I just wanna make it softer. And then we're gonna whip it. Let me crack my egg first. I'm gonna crack this egg, and then I'm gonna mix it with my vanilla. I know, I'm moving fast. Are you catching up? Are you keeping up? So the egg goes with the vanilla. And now I'm gonna beat my butter mixture. All right, I like how it looks. It kind of looks like cheese. This is what it looks like. So that's how whipped you want it. You want the sugar and the butter to be incorporated, right? So now that I've done that, remember my egg and vanilla mixture? That goes in now. And then beat again. And now it's whipping. Isn't that pretty? We're getting there. So now, what are we adding next? The flour. But we're gonna do it gently, right? So I'm not gonna throw all of this in. I'm gonna do about half, like this. And then I'm going to beat. Thank you. And then I am going to add the remaining And it's just gonna turn it. And I did that to get the excess off. And I need more flour. All right, so this is our beautiful dough. And it looks just like sugar cookie dough. I love cooking homemade. I think when you cook from your heart, when you make things from scratch, people can feel the love, right? I also don't mind doing store-bought things too. Like we did a whole section on Bisquick and how you can use that, but this is what it will look like. So now that I have did this and it has mixed, I am going to flour my counter. No, I'm not gonna make it yet. We have to freeze these for 20 minutes because this is a sugar cookie. So with the warm room temperature, and then on top of that, we've overworked it. If I were to make these sugar cookies, they would melt and turn into goo. They would burn. The trick with sugar cookies, even if it's a hard sugar cookie, or if it's that really fluffy one that everybody likes, freeze it. No matter what. No matter what they say, freeze your sugar cookie, okay? But I'm gonna flour the top because I'm going to be dumping this out, right? So I'm gonna dump the sugar cookie out. And I'll let you see it. You see how sticky it is, so that's why I'm pushing it the way that I am. This doesn't look like a lot, but this will make like 40 sugar cookies. 40. And then you'll be like, oh my God, I got all this sugar. And the best thing to do, if you notice, I'm putting everything in flour. When you put your utensils in flour, the dough is less likely to stick, right? So that's why I'm doing it. But now I want to put a little dough on top. Sorry, flour, because it's not dough yet, right? So flour on top. And then I'm pushing it into a disc. You see that? I'm just pushing it gently into a disc. Why am I doing this? Because again, we've got to freeze it for 20 minutes, right? So I'm just gonna keep pressing. If you notice, this is just me being tender with the dough, right? I'm not kneading it. I'm just gently pushing it to its capacity so that it gets to a certain level, right? I have my own store. That's why I'm on the live. I have my own store. I have a bakery. I also have 11 cookbooks. And the reason that I cook on this live is to teach people about food equity. Food equity means that I want everybody to learn how to cook. Everybody should be able to cook for themselves because food is a right, not a privilege. I learned how to cook from my grandmother and then my mother. Cooking in our family is a trade. So like when I was 9, I learned how to cook, right? But I didn't. I chose other things and I thought, oh, this will do it, but it didn't. So cooking has always been something for me. When I've had a really hard time in my life, I could always go hang out with my grandma and she'd be like, baby, let's cook. And then we would cook and she'd go, that tastes so good. And then she would call people and we would have this party. And that has been something that's happened to me through my whole life. That's why it's called Good Time Gal. The meaning of a good time gal means that your chief issue in life is the next party. So me and my grandmother would do that. We would cook together. We'd party together. And I just thought, that was something that everybody did with their family. And I realized that's not necessarily true. Yeah. So I love my grandma's food. All right. So now that I've got this, I've got to go get a pan, okay? And this is the tricky part. The tricky part is us getting this dough onto this pan. Ooh, let's see. Do I have enough room to get this dough on this pan? We did all of that. Will Good Time Gal get the dough on the pan? Ooh. See how thin it is? It's just breaking. Breaking. It's just breaking. It's good dough. So since it broke, we're not going to panic. We are going to take the flour. We're going to put it on top. And I'm going to do the same thing I did before, right? I just need to make it into a disc once again. So making it into a disc. Hi, Ella. How are you? Yes, life hacks. You're gonna love them. All right, so I'm gonna freeze this. We're gonna freeze that for 15 minutes. So I'm gonna set my timer. Well, no, 20 minutes, because I want to make sure it's right. And since we did that, I'm going to go ahead and move this over. We always like to clean up our mess. My homemade cookies, I do those from my bakery where I live. So it's only local. So if you're local, you can get my cookies. If you are not, unfortunately, I don't. I just do cookbooks and I also do some catering and have a good time. But they are all available on TikTok. And I do have a seasoning line. And so like I've been telling people, like if you purchase my cookbook, if you purchase my cookbook, this is my cookbook. So if you purchase this cookbook, I give you my seasoning line. So I have a seasoning line, I have a cookbook. So we're pretty humble about what we do, but we're humble because we want to talk about food equity, right? And then of course we have our other cookbook, which is the holiday cookbook. I will be making a holiday cookbook every year. I am a competitive cook. I participated in the 2023 and 2024 favorite chef competition, and I got in 5th place in 2023. So as a consolation prize, I wrote this. This has all my grandmother's recipes, my father's recipes, my mother's recipes, and some of my favorites. And this is a cookbook, if you read it, delicious, effortless recipes for families, get-togethers, or special occasions. So this cookbook, it's for any time. Like if you just want to have a cool house party, if you have a bad day. This also has a Valentine's Day sleigh menu in here. So a lot of the recipes that you see that I'm cooking, I know, Ella, I should have gotten 1st place and I didn't, but we're not gonna do that. Because the truth is, if I would have gotten 1st place, then I wouldn't be here with you guys, right? So everything happens for a reason. I don't understand. How long did it take me to make what? I don't know. The cookbook was already in the works because I had started a food and lifestyle blog. So the cookbook was already in the works, and then serendipitous moment happened where somebody was like, hey, do a cooking competition. And then I got in 5th place, and then that just kind of propelled the mission. And then TikTok asked me to do lives for them and other places as well. So we did it. But this is, yes. And then in 2024, I came in 10th place. I know the competition was strong, but everybody was super wonderful and super friendly. So I decided it was time for me to be a professional cookbook writer. And so I went ahead and I published a 4-course cookbook. I know a lot of you are going to go, well, Good Time Gal, this is a real cookbook. Yes, it is. But in the cookbook world, 4-course menus, 5-course menus, 3 courses, this would be considered a professional cookbook. So we did that, and it's a really lovely cookbook. And this is all the party favors that my grandmother has made. It's a color. All of them are in colored. All of them have things that I think everybody will like. But yeah, this is my grandmother's snack mix that she made. This is our spicy Kwanzaa salsa, super good. And then, of course, we have Muddy's dill dip. And then, of course, her sausage-filled mushrooms. So, yes, this is a good book. This is an equally good book. Let's see. And of course, it has me on the front, so you know it's my cookbook. And then we have really nice pictures. This is a good soup, a pumpkin soup that is delicious that I make. We talked about, yep, the sexy time menu. Can you see that? And what does that say? Better than sex cake. So if you look on my TikTok, we actually made this. We made this last week. And I also made an announcement that this is my only TikTok live for the month. Every month, I'll only be doing 1 TikTok live. I know, but I have other places and we have a good time. So now that I have shared with you everything that I could, it's time for us to make these sugar. So I want to use this, of course. And if you look, it's just red dye. It's just sugar that has been dyed and concentrated. So I am going to use this for the topping, but I want to use this as well, but I don't want the green. So I'm going to have to pick some of it out. I also have some dye. So that's going to be for my powdered sugar that I'm going to go ahead and use and put in here. And then it'll be a nice little frosting. So I will show that with you guys so you guys can... Yes, Paris, we have the same sprinkles. That's right. I use them for everything. I use them for Christmas, Thanksgiving. The only one that you can't use it for is Easter. That's the only one. But every other one, they have like a red, a white, a green. So you can do what you like. But no, this is pretty easy. So you lift it up. Then you lift it up again. Don't show your kids that. You'll have sprinkles everywhere. Ooh, honey, they said they don't want to be out. They said, I don't want to be sprinkled today. Just in case you're wondering, these are my personal sprinkles, so I'm not giving these out to anybody as I molest them with my hands. We don't do that. We're being very mindful. So I just use a knife and then I separate. And then sometimes I'll do this where I shift. There was a sand study that showed that sands of the same color will stick together. And if you notice when we do this, it's true. The grains of the same color, they'll stick together for the most part. So you can kind of shift the ones that you want out. Well, cooking is a satisfying thing, right? Like, I always tell people cooking is a really great stress reliever. And like I said before with my grandmother, it wasn't just like once or twice. It was almost every time I had an issue, she would be like, well, let's cook it out. And then we would gossip and we would cook and we would have such a great time together. So I always like to let people know, especially now with the climate that we have where everything is super fast paced, and if you blink, you're going to miss something. It's always nice to just take that time to yourself and just cook. My favorite thing to make as a chef is bread, because you have to be quiet, you have to be still, and you just have to keep going, right? So that's what cooking is. You get still, you get quiet, and you just cook. This is all my lives. We just hang out and we cook. We don't try to be a hater. We are congratulators. So whatever project you got going on, congratulations. I'm so happy for you. I'm so proud of you. We'll talk about it over some coffee. Yeah, a nice little espresso. Never hurt nobody. All right, so I think this is gonna be a good amount that I want. So I've got this separated just like I need it. A little red, a little white. Got some greens to the side. But no, I like this. I think I'm gonna be okay with this. As I keep picking greens out. I'm like, yeah, I'm okay with it. So yeah. So no, so this is the ones that I want to use, right? I'm separating them as I go, but so I'm gonna use this and I'm gonna set it to the side. And of course, my cookie tin. So I'm gonna do a heart shaped, and then I'm gonna do circle shaped as well, because it's wonderful. What's that song? Happiness runs in a circular motion. Love is like a little butterfly. Exactly. So that's why this is it. Happiness runs in a circular motion. So for me, this symbolizes happiness. Yeah, and the heart shape symbolizes love, triumph, togetherness. Cooking with passion. All right. Now that I've spazzed out, so now we're gonna do our confectioner sugar. This is gonna turn this into some frosting, okay? So I'm gonna put a good little amount. And I know I should say it, but usually what I do is I'll do 2 to 3 tablespoons of powdered sugar, and then I'll do 1 tablespoon of water. That's it. You don't need a lot. And you don't need to add sugar because it's already confectioner sugar. So this is super fine. So this is what it looks like. Super fine. So then, of course, I have my dye. So I'm going to use red. And this red, depending on how many drops I use, will make it super red or make it red, that kind of thing. I'm just going to probably do 1 drop because I want it pink. I don't want it red. That was it. And if you missed it, there it is. It's in there. He's right. He's right in there. He's red. So now we're gonna mix. He disappeared. There we go. That's what I wanted. I wanted a nice baby pink. Look at that. We're getting a nice baby pink. Add a little more water. If you notice, I'm adding it as I go. I'm not actually measuring it out. Doesn't mean that you can. It just means that that's not how I do it, okay? So as I keep adding the water, it will keep melting down. See that? It'll just keep melting. And I picked a red bowl, and now you guys won't be able to see it. But this is just one drop. So one drop of red makes a really pretty passionate pink. No, some of the best mistakes happen when you make mistakes in cooking. Did you know that potato chips was a mistake? Yep. Potato chips, the things that we love the most, that was a mistake. Kellogg's was also a mistake. There's no such thing as a mistake in cooking. It's us. We get caught up in, oh my God, I'll tell you this crazy story. So my birthday is July 1st. And in our family, really, you can look it up. Potato chips were a mistake. And Kellogg's were a mistake. Kellogg's were not meant to be eaten for breakfast. And potato chips were definitely, they were like, what the hell is this? They're too thin. And people love them. They started selling them on the street, and kids like them and moms like them. Yes, it's very true. A lot of the wonderful things that Americans love was either a mistake or something that we created out of necessity, like meatloaf. Meatloaf was actually something that was created during the Great Depression, and you would put whatever you had in a loaf pan with your meat so that it would go a long way, and then you would cook it. Yeah. So there's no mistakes in cooking. If anything, it's us who get really stressed about it. Like, oh, what am I going to do? But back to my story. Birthdays, we have a huge barbecue, and my dad invites everybody over, at least 200 people. And my mom complains every year, and she says, Chester, don't burn the weenies. And he says, all right, I won't. And he burns the weenies. My dad burns at least 20, and I'm probably under exaggerating that, okay? So she gets super upset with him about it. And then people come, and like we usually set up like a buffet. Like there's, a huge thing of baked beans. There's usually a huge thing of ribs, and there's usually a huge thing of like hamburgers, hot links, sausages, weenies, bratwurst. And my dad told her, he said, no, I'm gonna put these, she's like, you need to throw those burnt weenies out because nobody's gonna want them. And he's like, no, I'm gonna keep them. And he puts them out. And you know what is eaten first? His burnt weenies. And everybody's like, Mr. Lee, can you cook some more? Because they're burnt. Yes. I say that to say there are no mistakes. There's always someone who's going to love what you cook. Even when I make my peanut butter cookies and I may say to me they're burnt, my kids are like, this is the perfect cookie ever. So just always remember that. And that's probably what will make you a good cook. What makes us a good cook is not necessarily about the cooking. It's about our attitude when we cook, right? Like I could have freaked out about that, but no. And now the crazy thing is every barbecue, people expect those burnt weenies, guys. Yeah. They expect my dad to make some burnt weenies for them, it's hilarious, but I just wanted to share that story with you. Yes, je parle un peu français, habla poquito español. but not enough. I know how to speak enough to sound like a child. But I don't know how to say, like, hey, I think we killed somebody and we've got to stop. Or, oh my God, you passed my hotel. Please don't kidnap me. But I know enough where I could make it, right? Hola, ¿cómo estás? Bien, y tú? Ooh. Like, I know enough for that. I've got to find a spatula. All right, so now this is what it looks like. So it's a perfect pink. I don't believe that, Aaliyah. I believe you can speak some good Spanish. Everybody's got it in them. You just got to work on rolling those R's. I do okay, and then sometimes I practice and then I forget what I said, and then I just get lost in the sauce. And then, of course, I'm used to like speaking with a robot. So when humans speak, I'm like, what did you say? Slow down. Slow down. It's awful. It's awful. But I try my best. All right, so what I'm doing is I'm going to put this icing into this nice jar that I have. And when they get ready, because this is going to be at the end, the sugar, the sprinkles that we did before, that is for when we put them inside. This is going to be after we have heated them. And then I will drizzle this frosting on top. Yes, I do. I love it. That's where I'm at. I'm like level 11 and I'm so bad at it. And I get my little badge and I'm excited. But yes, I am awful. I speak languages, but I'm terrified people are going to be like, what is she saying? And like people are like, Italian and French, they're messy. They're supposed to be messy. And I'm like, really? Because I sound awful. So I'm going to do that again because this only filled it up this much. And again, remember, we're making like 40 cookies. So we got to... Ooh, my favorite restaurant. There's a restaurant that I have been trying to get reservations for the last 5 years. That's all I'm gonna say. It's my favorite. It's my favorite. They're not gonna let your girl in. All right. Somebody's frozen and they're ready to party. So I'm gonna set him aside. I'm gonna finish this because we've got, like I said, I've got one more to do. Yes. And the crazy thing is, it's not just me waiting. We're all waiting. And he puts us on the list. That's how busy that guy is. I don't even, at this point, I will say this. He is he's from Top Chef. It's a Top Chef contestant who won, and then he opened a restaurant. This restaurant right now is ranked as I think number 4 in America. And I have been trying to get a reservation to this restaurant forever. I have tried to bribe people. I have done everything I can. I even tried to get a job there, and he knew. He was like, you don't get to get a job here. So yes. It's one of those crazy things. You're right. You know what? I did. I remade some Red Lobster biscuits. You missed that. Where were you? We did a restaurant montage for my lives. You're behind. No, we make reservations. And this is the crazy thing. When you make the reservation, he calls you and he'll say he has it or you don't. And the one time where he had the reservation for me, I was out of town cooking. So I didn't actually get to go in. So it's like we keep missing each other. So one day soon, I will be going to that restaurant. But yes, and it's a small restaurant. So I think it only seats 20 people at a time. It's one of those restaurants. You got to be ready. And I want to say it's about $400 a plate. So it's not a, I don't like, I like a good mom and pop shop, but when I like to eat, your girl likes to eat. All right. So I'm gonna put the top on this. I'm ready. This is my frosting for when we're done. So I'm setting that to the side. Let's keep moving. I'm gonna wipe this counter down because we gotta use it again. I have a little bit flour left. Thank you. And then I am going, the sun is shining, so let's take that in. Notice it didn't, look, it's froze. So it didn't do what I thought it would do. But because I am who I am, and my grandmother told me, flour, flour, flour. We're gonna put flour, flour, flour. And then we're gonna get the cookbooks out the way, y'all. So now the next step. No, just I went too crazy. The next step is we're gonna do this. You've got a snowstorm and you're home from school. That sounds like fun. It's not, but it's a good way to do it. Yeah, it's not snowing here. The sun is a good friend. So I've already floured this, so now we're gonna roll it out. We gotta roll this out because remember I said it makes like 40 cookies. So let's, I'm being a little funny. This is dough, but I'm not there yet. So I want to make sure that this is evenly. The reason you want it even is because sugar cookies cook fast and they can burn fast. You don't want that. I also like to do this a little bit, get some of that flour off of it, just to, because it's been frozen, right? All right, and before I do that, I'm dipping it into flour, right? You want to dip, always dip your cookie cutters in flour. That way they don't get stuck to the dough. These are already dipped, but I just want y'all to see it, okay? Always dip it. So I'm gonna go to the top. And then I'm gonna go here. I'm just gonna keep going. It's a perfect heart. From my heart to yours. So we keep going. So then I just pick it up. A lot of people don't know you don't have to move anything. You can just keep printing them out, right? So that's what I'm doing. I'm just printing them out as I go, because this saves time. When you're working with children, yes, go slow because they want to enjoy that experience. But if you are making these for children, go as fast as you need to, right? Let me get another pan. So this one, I want you guys to make sugar cookies. So now I'm going to lay the ones that I've already made like this. This is a non-stick pan, so I don't have to worry about it sticking. But because these are so thin, the cook time is gonna be different. The cook time is not gonna be, I think it's like 12 minutes. This is gonna be 7 to 8 minutes. And I also have a gas stove, so I'm calculating that as well. So yep, we're putting them on there. We had a viewer with Tourette's. We had a viewer with Tourette's, and we let him have his moment. And that's what we do here. We don't judge. We just let folks do what they need to do. All right, so we still have quite a bit of dough from just that little batch. That made 4, 8, 12, 13, and we still have this dough left. So we have to re-roll it, and then we will put it. So we're gonna do it again. And then again, dip it in the flour, make sure, and then we just do that. Oh, that's just some jazz. Ooh, my favorite step of baking is tasting. I love to put things together that don't make any sense to people. And then we eat it and we're like, holy smokes. Like when I do mac and cheese, I do crushed pepperoni on top. Yeah. I do a Gouda Swiss mac with crushed pepperoni on top. And people get freaked out every time they come over my house. They're like, what the hell is this? And I'd be like, just eat it. Just have a little bite. And then you can like see their eyes like in their head like pop up and they're like, oh my God. So yes, I like to do like food fusion at all times. I think food fusion is the absolute best. But yes. Did our friend with Tourette's come back? Did he come back? Did our friend with Tourette's come back? He wants people to know. He can do it. Just let him. Oh my, he's so upset. All right, so we've got one wonderful pan. See that? Oh, they're wonderful. So now what I'm gonna do, because remember we talked about frosting and making sure, but this particular batch, I'm gonna use candy, okay? We're gonna do candy on top. Remember all the stuff that I was going through, I was picking it and we were laughing about it. This is what we were laughing about because we want to put it on this. So I'm gonna take some. I usually don't do many. That's why I wasn't really stressing. I just do enough so that people know. From mi corazón, et toi. That's sunshine. Let me just put in a little bit. We're just putting enough. I usually let you guys see me do it from start to finish. And you guys are getting to see this from start to finish. So I hope this lets you know that Valentine's Day, you can make someone's Valentine's special for less than $2. This whole batch, I think, is less than $2 to make. And again, remember we talked about, at the beginning I said I'm all about food equity. Food equity is also being able to give gifts that are affordable and they're easy to make. Because you want people to spread love, right? We want to still be a wonderful community that spreads love, that's inclusive, and we all want to have the same thing. We want to have the privilege to eat good food, right? Everybody should have access to delicious food. Everybody should be able to make delicious food if they so desire. But it should never be up for discussion whether you get food, whether someone else gets food. So my mission in life, or as I like to say, my personal legend, is making sure that everybody feels seen, loved, heard, and fed, right? There ain't nothing better than somebody saying, I like you, let me feed you. You don't hear that now. Like in the 90s, that was like a huge thing. Like guys would take you on a date and they'd say, I just want to see you eat. I want to feed you. Now you don't get that so much. Now you gotta beg. You gotta beg. I mean, I've never done that, but I hear that's what's going on. So I'm just getting a little more. And with these, I'm not going to be able to sit them up for you to see. You guys will just see me putting the little decorations on them. That's it. But no, I've had so much fun with you guys today. This has been a fun live for sure. You guys are kind of making me rethink my decision about once a month. A little bit. All right, so these are perfectly cut and ready. So now I'm going to put these in my oven at, I think, what did we say? Ooh, 325. So I'm going to put these in at 325 and then I'm going to rotate. So every 5 minutes, I'm going to open it and I'll turn it. And then I'll open it and I'll turn it. Okay? All right, folks. Well, it was swell. The swelling's gone down, and I have got somewhere to go. All of my food that I cook on any live, I donate to my local hospital, or I donate to my local businesses for those who need a lunch. Yeah. Because in my state, it's illegal to resell anything that you're doing a live on. So I usually donate it to people who need it. So these, however, my daughter is coming over. So they will be eaten. And I think my son is going to be waking up in a couple. And he's going to be eating. So that's the crazy part, is some of this I may be able to sneak out. Some of it just depends. Depends on them. But we're about to end this live, okay? I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me and making these sugar cookies. We have had such a wonderful time together. So please be sure to follow me on TikTok. Purchase all 3 of my books if you like, or 1. And just keep spreading the food equity love, okay? I want you guys to have a wonderful day today. I want you guys to stay warm, and I want you guys to be blessed, never stressed, okay?